4. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Due to my failing eyesight, I've asked Jeff if he'll conduct the meeting.
All right. Bank reconciliation for September 2025.
Make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes. So we have several minutes. We get the special meeting August 26, 2025, public hearing September 16, 2025, and the council meeting September 16, 2025.
Motion to approve all three.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve all three meetings. All in favor?
Aye.
Claims. City officials. Somewhere that's fine.
Sorry.
Stand up. We'll go ahead and jump to concerned citizens. Model one.
Yeah.
Let's get everybody there. What you got?
For Lowe's, and it's all for the town, $145.77. And then John Deere Financial, it's a split between the town, water, and the sewer, and the total is $230.72. And it's just supplies, wasp hornet spray, supplies.
That's all your additions?
Okay, make a motion to approve the claims with the add-ons.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve claims with the additionals. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Old business, water and sewer.
I don't think he's paying attention.
No, I was making sure I didn't have any.
Okay.
You got anything back there, Dennis?
No.
No. Tracy, Marty, you guys have anything?
No. Nothing.
Alrighty. Old business, streets. Old business, town. The 2026 budget approval.
Just made it ordinance 2025-4.
Oh, yeah, you know what, I forgot, that's part of it. When we were talking about numbering the ordinances, that would be 4. That should be.
And there were no changes from the public hearing, so.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Oh, I
You
can't, sorry.
can.
I can't. Never mind.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second to approve the 2026 budget. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And there's one abstention.
Abstain.
Alright. Ordinance codification.
So that's the one that has been up for discussion a few times, seeing if I got any comments. I didn't receive any. I think it's good to go, but it can be tabled for further discussion if we need to. It is ordinance 2025-03. So this is the ordinance that is adopted to officially adopt the codification that we have published. It's published already out there, but it has no actual effect once it goes in.
I don't see anything. Does anybody have any reason why we need to put it off again?
I didn't see one.
I know.
Okay, then I'll make a motion, we pass ordinance 2025-3, enacting the codification.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
If I can insert one thing before you get to employee raises, because it has to do with that. Last meeting, we talked about the health and wellness monthly benefit and extending that to the town marshal. The prior ordinance exempted him, our town marshal, say him, but our town marshal, Lloyd. So 2025-01 is the ordinance before you, which amends that prior ordinance, which was 2024-03. And this one says officially the town marshal shall receive that benefit. In addition, and I guess it's really two parts here are the most important. So section 6 of the ordinance 2024-03 shall be amended as follows. All full-time employees are allowed a $750 per month benefit to use towards health and wellness. There's no longer an exception for the town marshal. And then the following paragraph is the town shall immediately begin offering the monthly health and wellness benefit to the town marshal, as well as provide one additional monthly payment for the prior month before the adoption of this ordinance. That was discussed at our last meeting, so he could get the town marshal could get the monthly benefit in September, even though we're adopting in October. So it applies here with an additional month and then until further amendment.
I'll make a motion to approve 2025-01.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next, employee raises.
Okay, that's something I mentioned last meeting. See if anybody wanted to give it any thought.
I know our status in the last few years is been doing what I believe $1.
Yeah.
I would,
Did you look at any numbers?
No. I mean, I think it's fine.
We're good, so
yeah,
like $1 an hour across the
that's-
board?
that was.
Yeah.
That's, then I'll make that motion, we adopt a $1 an hour raise for all town employees.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question on that one? All town employees are part-time and full-time, right?
Mhm.
So I think what the state would like is probably a resolution, and I can draft one for next meeting, because it has to do with income for the town, so long as you're not above any of the thresholds, which I do not believe you are.
Yeah,
You're fine to do that, but I think a resolution would be the formal way of saying it's
so
happening.
we have to wait.
I don't see any reason, no. I
Okay.
think you've adopted it now, it's just that we'll formalize it in a resolution in November.
Thank you, Ruth. Next one, brochures property update.
Can we go back real quick? Does that start this Friday or next Friday, or when does that start?
Next payroll period. That work?
That's what I'm asking. I haven't done our payroll yet,
If
so I
you
don't know.
if you haven't done this week, I would.
I'm good with
it
that.
starts
Yeah.
the next time you calculate payroll.
Okay, I didn't know if it was Stacy, if it worked or you for you for all time and stuff.
It's fine.
What pay period are we starting that I'll put in the resolution?
So I do the payroll tomorrow and submit it to her that it's for last week's payroll.
So starting last Monday?
Yes, Monday of last week.
Okay, so I'll put in there
Council still good with it?
October,
Good.
effective October, pay period October 13th.
You pay your employees while you keep the employees.
That is true. So you got those on that?
Good.
All right.
Of course, in Lloyd's case, since he's salaried, how many hours are you working, Lloyd?
We figured it'd fall into 2,000.
Yeah.
The past couple of years, that's what you used.
So of course, it'll have to be spread out to adjust his salary.
How do you want to calculate that?
I would just figure you work an average of 40 hours a week, right?
Well, I think the way we've calculated the past couple of years should work, right, Stacy?
That's 2080. 2,080 hours if you go 40 times 52.
Yeah, we've been based upon 2,000.
Yeah,
For the,
so I think that would.
So, is it, so are we giving it to them for the whole year, starting now?
Well,
or do
we have to like.
I think in the past with the salaried employees, they started at the beginning of the year,
that's,
because the only people that have received it, to my knowledge, are Lloyd and Stacy.
The past
No
couple
other
of years, it's
salary.
been for the whole year.
But we didn't go back this, like, because we do it this time of year, we didn't go back to the beginning of this year, did we? I thought we prorated the end.
So we can.
I'm
we
pretty
can
sure
prorate
we-
it.
Never prorated it.
Okay, I was thinking we had prorated it, and then,
Because there for a little bit, my salary goes up, and then beginning of the year it drops back down.
so you haven't been putting in, no, well, I mean, if that's how we've been doing it, I guess I thought we prorated the end of, or the end of the year, I should say. But I'm fine with that.
So is it it's $1 per hour including Lloyd, so the 2,080 for 2025, and then it's not prorated starting now.
I
have to
would
make sure
prorate it
that's what-
starting now, correct?
I thought that's what we were doing in the past, I guess that's.
Yeah.
That's where I was confused. 'Cause I had both
Yeah.
things.
But it sounds like we weren't. But I don't know that we've had this part of the discussion as far as prorating and not.
No, I mean, like I said, I know from what I looked at in the past paychecks and everything for the past couple of years,
So it went up and then
it's went up because it included the whole year.
it's trying to.
It was like this year's salary
Correct.
changed now, so let's say I was making, we'll use 30,000 for example. So that $2,000 then would be 32,000 for this year.
Correct.
So the difference would have been paid until the end of the year. And then at the beginning of the year, I saw my checks drop because
it's spread.
it's spread out over 12 months
Yeah.
instead of the remaining months of the year. Now, I think what it is, the past few years, I think we've done this earlier in the year
Right.
as well. And so it's kind of later in the year, but
Well, so if you prorate it, you're gonna get, you'll maintain an even keel as opposed to going up and then going down, because next year, if you look at it this time, about the time of year we normally do it, I thought it was more toward the end of the year.
Well, it varies.
So, and what's council's view?
And we're not gonna back pay anybody else, correct?
Yeah. Like I said, it should all come out in, like the terms of not wash, because next year
Right.
we'll go through this again, so.
So for hourly employees, sorry to complicate this, for hourly employees, it's easier because it can start as a pay period, so we said October 13th. For Lloyd, because he's salaried, perhaps the easiest way to do something similar would be to determine, take his 2,080 hours, divide it over the year, and then prorate that for the amount of time we have left.
I
Is
mean,
that,
you could-
is
that's
that?
Yeah,
basically
that's what I was
prorated.
thinking.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're basically prorated.
Okay. Would you receive payment every other week?
every week.
Every week?
So you basically look at how much.
Is your pay period starting October 13th been paid out or not yet?
No,
Okay, so October 13th can also work for you.
yeah. I'm getting a little confused tonight about the prorate and stuff because like I said, the past couple of years, we've done this and it's all been done the same, so I'm not sure if it's being changed or.
It's not being changed, because I guess I thought we were prorating for the end of the year, I didn't realize we were kind of like,
Yeah, and again-
we were back paying for the whole year, right?
I thought we started in January, but I didn't pull that prior order. I can see what
It
that's
starts in January.
Yours starts in January. Maybe that was what it was. It's only
Yeah,
yours that
I
starts
think
in
that's
January.
right.
That might be correct, now that you said that. You're right, Marty.
So,
I'm happy to do whatever. I just want to make sure the language is what I'm hearing
Right.
correctly. And certainly we can email it. I can send an email draft too, but since I'll be drafting this and then it'll be brought before the 10th council. I just wanted to know.
I guess in my mind, I'm thinking if we prorate it, so basically, like you said, take how many weeks are left in the year and do that, and then this next year, about this time, you would think it's gonna come up again, so.
Right.
So your year is gonna be offset, if that makes sense, on your priority pay. You're not losing anything, you're still getting it, but instead of getting the higher pay now and then dropping your pay back at the beginning of the year, and then for next year at this time to go back up and then drop back down again, it should even keep.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Yeah, like I said, I guess before, I thought it was, we were kind of prorated at the end of the year, I didn't realize we were back in the 12-year.
Well,
And
and
squeezing that in a little less, however.
I think we were doing it, like you
Early
said,
in
a
the
lot
year.
earlier in the
It's
year.
usually around March or April.
It seemed like I thought this always came up at the
Yeah.
end of the year, just maybe thinking of Christmas bonuses or something.
Regardless, I appreciate it very much.
Okay.
I'm very thankful to you to pay me.
All right. Does that get you clear on what to put in the
Yeah.
resolution?
I'll-
Okay. Any more raises?
No, but go ahead and, I would say, go ahead and move for all of that, encompass it. And so a motion for the table, to be on the table would be to increase hourly rates by $1 an hour, to also increase the hourly rate to the extent you can to the salary of Lloyd for the marshal by $2,080 per annual prorated as of October 13th. So you kind of voted on the full-time employees and part-time, and then we had a discussion about Lloyd later. So I just want to make sure that's all.
I'll make that a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Or, you good?
I'm good with that, yeah.
Brochure's property.
That's me. It's just an update, FYI, the company that was in charge of or tasked with cleaning up that property received notice from the prior owner of the property to stop work on it, which is why it was never completed. So chasing them down and finally getting that answer, they were like, we were told not to work on it anymore, we're out. The property was sold. The property deed has not yet been updated. So I haven't talked to the new owners. However, somebody did reach out, an entity reached out to water or sewer. And so I'm following up with them because I don't yet know who actually owns the property. It's not until I go and find the new deed, I won't know who it is.
So the new
Somebody
owners or
local?
the previous owners reached
No,
out?
it was a property management company that called me.
So the property management company was hired by the bank. The bank cleared out the property, and presumably sold it. We were not informed of this. We ordinarily wouldn't be, really. And when they did that, they told the property management to stop working on it because they're not paying for them to clean up somebody else's property. Nobody just informed us, so when they stopped cleaning it, we just thought they forget to follow up. Turns out it's a whole new owner. Now, ideally, they would have come out and talked to us first and known about it so we could have approached them. So right now we have somebody out there that owns the property. I do not know if they're local. My assumption is they're not, based upon the name of who came in to get or sent a request for, was it water?
They wanted to know if there was water and sewer available, and I said yes, and they wanted me to email them to set it up. I said, no, you have to come into the office, so, and then that's where the conversation stopped.
I don't think it's a local individual. I think it's a company of some sort. But until we figure that out, then once we figure that out, we can send a notice letter saying, hey, this property is in poor condition, you have to clean it up. We've done that before. But that is what's happened with the Brochure's property and explains why they stopped working on it. So,
I have one more thing under old business now.
Yes, ma'am.
Saturday, everything is set up for, the town cleanup day. He is going to, call me when he's getting close so I can meet him down there. I need to talk to Dennis about exactly where we want to put those as far as if we have to get fire trucks, in and out. But, so all that's done, it's on the sign, it's on the town Facebook page, and it's on the community page. I also made sure that we put on there that they will be under electronic
I saw that,
surveillance.
good thing.
So that people know that you can't just come dump stuff. And I really didn't set any hours other than 8 till, I guess,
I
we're
think you said
full.
when it was full or something,
Yeah.
yeah.
So other than that, everything's taken care of.
Thank you for handling that, Tracy. Appreciate it. My truck loaded up.
Huh?
I said I gotta get my truck a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, anything else on business? All right, we'll go new business, water and sewer.
One thing I have is the sewer line extension that was done for the industrial park. They did a 800-foot, roughly, give or take, new extension to run to the east. It is installed, it's passed all of its tests, the whole 9 yards, and they are ready for us to accept it into our system for maintenance. And I told them I would be bringing it to you guys to approve that tonight. Accept it into our system for maintenance and with subject to a 1-year performance warranty. So that's our standard practice. So my recommendation is to go with it.
You're good with all of
I'm good with it, yes.
it? I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anything else next?
No.
Streets?
Nope.
Town? Looks like we got some amended ordinances from the area planning commission.
Yes. This ordinance is 2025-12, 2025-15.
What was, regarding?
12 is an ordinance to amend Article 10, multiple family R2 district of the comprehensive zoning ordinance in effect for Warren County.
And this, I think they were doing some clarification on verbiage in there on multiple family, like duplexes and stuff like that. If I remember right, and obviously we follow the county ordinances and all that stuff, so we basically just adopted into, adopted from the town. What was the second one, sorry?
2025-13 is an ordinance to amend Article 2, Section 2, definitions of the comprehensive zoning ordinance in effect for Warren County, Indiana. It defines Section 2 dwelling as 2-family or duplex.
Yeah, so it's more definition on duplex and multifamily dwellings. So I'll make a motion, we adopt those.
A second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, next item I have down is Tampa Christmas party.
I was told during the audit this year that the town can no longer pay for the Christmas party.
Was that what led to the home rule conversation, or no?
I don't think so. I think they were two separate.
Okay.
We've done that for how many years? Did something change or it's happened? See
They
it
just happened to pull
Here's
that.
it this time.
Maybe.
I'm not familiar with other
I can do some.
municipalities on how they do it. I mean, we could, we could do a potluck for
That's
a
what she
meal,
said.
for all I know, but I would venture to guess that there's other governmental groups, be they towns, boards, whatever, that are going out and having dinner or something on their funding. So, I mean, we could always do that. I don't know if you want to look into it further. We're October, so we can.
Yeah, I can, and we can kind of figure out what our options are.
And obviously we could go and everybody just make it themselves.
And if you look at this, it says we can budget for meals associated with official meetings or events.
So that's the thing that there is an ordinance before you, 2025-02, and it's part of new business anyway, so we can just type it up right now. That came about because of the state's auditor review indicating that there were expenditures made that didn't clearly have an authorization under something like what's called the Home Rule Act. I don't necessarily agree with their position on it, but it doesn't hurt to adopt an ordinance on it. So under Indiana code, municipalities have the ability, so long as they're not limited by the Indiana Constitution or state law, to run its affairs and conduct business. And that includes expending money for certain things, which can include things like decorations, which is how this came up because it was Christmas decorations, I think, correct?
Holiday decorations.
So one of the ways that we can resolve that issue is to adopt a home rule ordinance, which is what 2025-02. I drafted that to be really as broad as I think I could make it. It allows the town to expend funds for a variety of things, whether it's you're gonna increase commercial growth, residential growth, tourism, who knows, maybe. Any kind of expenses that are for the betterment of the town kind of can go into this category. And then through resolutions, you can formally say we expend this or we'll do this. So as we were talking about the Christmas dinner, in my mind, I didn't draft it for that reason. But I could go back and consider, is there, is it appropriate under the home rule ordinance if it was adopted to pay for a Christmas dinner?
Meals associated with official meetings or events.
Yeah, and I think there's probably a way to do it. We just probably have to do it with some sort of formality.
So you're still saying each expenditure, we have to do a resolution for such?
I think so, right? Because if we did, because not an ordinance, a resolution. So if we had like Christmas decorations again this year, how is the town authorized to expend that money? We can say under the home rule ordinance we can. Then is there a resolution that formalizes that expenditure? I don't know if that resolution is required for every expenditure, but certainly we could do it to the extent the state says it's needed. But the ordinance gives you sort of the ability to expend those funds.
But then we can do a resolution that says that Susan can spend X amount of dollars every year, like on decorations and things like that.
I don't spend very much at all.
I know, but you shouldn't spend it out of your own pocket either.
So once it's adopted, and we can go back for revisions, but if it's adopted, I'll have Stacy send it off to the state as the adopted ordinance, and then we will ask, okay, so now if we do this, as we've done in the past, are you okay with that, or do you need something more formal? If they said we need a resolution, then fine. If they said no, you're good, then great. But this will satisfy that concern, and might satisfy the Christmas party issue.
I mean, this looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it looks like it would authorize that.
Well, I mean, it is, and like you said, you make it very broad, you cover a lot of items of it. Space rental, awards, employee recognition, promotional materials, there's a lot of stuff that
And there's also I think there's a lot of growth opportunity for the town in a variety of ways too. So there may be expenses associated with that as we look at those, and I don't want to be hamstrung, so I would just the ability to move forward if the town wanted to. But so long as the town believes it's for the best interest of the town and it's going in a positive direction, and this is something that makes sense to the town already, you guys want to do this, but now it's formalized in the ordinance.
Well, and I like the terms kind of cover us, when we throw in our, you know what, so, I like it.
So, are you guys okay with this evening? Then I'll make a motion, we approve ordinance 2025-02, affirming the town of Oberfeld Home Rule Authority.
I will second that. Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Like kind of, you might cover our Christmas party, but like I said, I think if we have to fall back, I mean, I don't mind it. I'll cook a bunch of pulled pork and we can do a potluck, we can do it here. Or, sure, if I talk to Kiwanis that lives in the building or something, we figure that out if we have to. Sound good?
Sounds good, man.
Next item is stale checks.
That's the resolution. So 2025-01 resolution is something that Stacy found that we needed to do in discussing with the state. If there is a check that the town cut and it hasn't been cashed for a period of 2 years, it can become quote unquote stale. And that allows Stacy and the town to get it off our books. So it's something that will have to be done every year. I think, is it in March, Stacy, that we do that review? And so this formalizes a process by which it's kind of creating an internal policy, which is why it's a resolution, not an ordinance, how we're going to deal with these funds and what to do with them afterwards. So I think come February, we'll probably talk more in detail about how we're actually going to handle it, because I think some checks are out there are several years old. They're more than two, and so there are different rules that apply with some of those checks. There's an attorney general program that you have to kind of register some of those stale checks with. So we'll have to just jump through those hoops, but this now provides a process by which we're doing this.
Do our checks have a date on them or anything, you know, not to exceed a certain amount? Because I've seen checks
I
before
think-
where it says like you can't cash them after 180 days or whatever.
I think it does say it's void, but in practice, that's rarely ever applied. But it's really an accounting issue because we can't technically write that off our books until we go through this process, even though we know they're not being cashed. Or we don't expect them to be. So
Yeah,
that's
it's quite
what
a-
that resolution is.
You have quite a bit out there, you know, so.
I don't remember how much.
6 or 8, I can't
There's
remember.
probably at least 8 or 10 checks. I think most of them are in water and maybe a couple in handlers.
I think one of them's like 10 or 11,000, isn't it? For road engineering.
For road.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I never knew what
Because
this
that one that
They
we
went
stopped
out of
payment
business.
on it.
Oh.
Had right.
So I think that's a good example of, I think, why the Attorney General program exists. So it's something that was, you know, this is money that the town is paying. Somebody was supposed to receive that money, they didn't. And so you go back and say, well, here's that money. If they come back and avail themselves, they have it for that long, for that period of,
That's
for
why
that
we
amount
wrote
of
them
money.
a check, didn't
Yeah,
we? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
we
got
wrote
their
a check
money.
with it.
We stopped payment on that check.
Oh,
So,
that's something.
But that's because they went out of business though, I think, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
I mean, they're out of business, I know that.
So they did get paid, but we had to stop payment on the original.
I believe so.
Okay. That would be a good example. Would have applied for the registration program.
Council, which feels on this?
Are you okay with that way this is? Right, motion to approve resolution 2025-01, resolution establishing procedures for the handling of outstanding checks and unclaimed property.
Second.
Motion in the second, all in favor?
Aye.
So. Anything else in the town? No?
We could probably take up the letter you got from SKO at some point, no matter when. But you probably do need to
I was gonna vote it.
understand that, yeah, you can make a decision at some point.
Yeah, no, get that in. Special projects. Anybody got anything? If not, I actually will talk about the park for a minute. So we did get some good news. We were awarded a $25,000 grant from CenterPoint Energy to go toward the park. The grant is actually in the name of Elevate Elberfeld, which is the nonprofit groups that hosts the Ricans and I can't remember who else is in on that they put together. They basically needed a nonprofit to award it to. So they're working with Elizabeth and some of those folks with that group was working with Steve. So we got that awarded. We are getting ready to submit a grant request to the Johnson Foundation to see what they would be willing to help us out on. Steve Riley's done a lot of work putting together, you know, kind of the budget for this thing and what we're looking at. We've got some donation engineered drawings from actually Nicholas Alex and Tyler. He hooked us up with that stuff. So we're looking good there. I was asked for the town to think about possibly what we could do to help out. And I know I made the comment before, I'd love to see us get this thing built without any money from the town, but as you guys all know, that's not how it works. Especially on these grants, they're gonna look for us to put in something. So I, just think about that. We talked about actual, work we could do as well as part of it, be it excavation work on the lot over there or whatever, that we could, the town could donate as well as to think about a monetary donation. So think about it, just my thought is, trying to match, maybe match the CenterPoint grant, and that would probably get Johnson to match that. I can't think of the name of it, sorry, the Warwick County, it's like Visit Warwick or whatever. I think they're going to donate to get the mural done, as well as Warwick Trails is going to donate, and then Warwick County Economic Development is going to donate as well. The numbers, they were talking, pretty good numbers. Just want to see how close we can get before they chip in on there. But that's where we're at. Like I said, Steve should grant proposal of Johnson Foundation We talked about having it submitted to them by this Friday. I don't know if you guys remember from the previous discussions when we were acquiring the lot from Heritage, that Tony Ellsworth, who was the president of Heritage at that time, was also on the Johnson Foundation, and at that time said that he would definitely push for them to help us out on it. He wants to see it happen as well as we all do, right? So I got a good feeling on that. If anybody remembers, they did help us out at Kiwanis Park getting that new playground put in, you know, for the disability or disabled children playground. So they were pivotal on that, kind of push us over the help on that one. So it's looking good. Obviously, I know this is taking a lot longer than anyone wanted to or thought, but yeah, it's just how it's been rolling. But Centerpoint, you know, I was very happy to see that. You know, we're thinking probably around maybe 175 to 200,000 how to get this thing done with a little bit of work from the town, you know, as far as volunteer work and stuff. But that's a big step already in the right direction. So that's like that. But I would like you guys to think about an amount, and maybe we could make a decision at the next meeting or two. You know, like I said, I would like to see you maybe 2025 if we could do it, but maybe it's not my decision. So that's all I got on the problem.
Thank you, Jeff, for your work on that.
It's been interesting, but fun. Thank you. Anything else on special projects? Police department?
Contractors completed the work on the police department, and building inspection's been done. We got a certificate of occupancy. So we're moving forward with getting everything moved downstairs. It's gonna take a while to do all that, but I'll invite all of you if you want to step in after the meeting tonight and take a sneak peek at everything. I would welcome and encourage it. I can show you guys what we got.
Absolutely. I thought you were going to invite us to come over and grab a box from downstairs.
That was an idea too, but
Everybody come upstairs once. Oh,
we got the heavy stuff down.
Yeah.
The desks, that was a chore in itself, so.
good deal. I know I drove by there a few late nights and I see the lights on and your truck usually back in the garage back there and stuff.
Right.
So appreciate what you've done.
Thank all out for that. Lloyd put a lot of time in up there.
That's all you got, Jim?
That's all good.
Fire department?
I have nothing other than we're having Harvest Fest again this year, hosting it,
Great.
so.
The grant.
Oh, go ahead, you know a little more about that.
We've got a grant, an opioid grant for almost $16,000 for items that related, it had to be things that were related to problems with overdoses. So we submitted a long list and they approved everything, so.
It's gonna put a lot more individual medical bags out there, so that way we're not having to respond strictly with the rescue squad. If somebody's close by, they can respond straight to an overdose too, kind of like the sheriff's department does.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we'll have, everyone will have Narcan. We have small bags right now, but we're gonna be able to expand those to carry more equipment with us, so.
Fantastic, good deal. But on the fire department?
That's all.
Miscellaneous?
Dennis had sent us all an email about an opportunity to buy a hydrovac machine.
Yeah.
At a very good price. So,
You guys got any questions?
What was the price, 22 or 19?
22,000.
22. Do you know, and I should have asked you, or responded to your email I asked you before, so you have this ready. Can you, because I know that's like, so Hydromax, that's the one that come in and do that kind of stuff, right?
That's a company.
Well, right, but so I mean, like over the course of a year, how much are we spending with it? Or company you're bringing in, because I'm trying to, you know, like.
We haven't really used anybody here lately though.
I
That's,
thought we had Hydromax up not too long ago.
yeah, they do roof cuttings and stuff like that, and then they will suck stuff out. And I think our bills are generally around 2,000 or 3,000. They're usually around 2,000 or 3,000 each time they're up here.
So how often? I'm trying to think of, I think it's worth it. I'm just trying to think of, okay, you know, in 2 years, this will pay for itself at the time. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's what
So-
that's what
That was my
I was
question.
talking to Tracy earlier about that, so it can be used for a multitude of things. water main repairs, replacing water valves and stuff, like for instance, Main Street and East Front Street by the old hardware store. There's 3 or 4 valves there. There's a fiber optic run through there, there's a gas line run through there, and a sewer main. Obviously, we can't just start digging with an excavator of any size on that because we're gonna run into problems. So something like that, we can actually start off with like a 6x6 or an 8x8 hole, hydrant back every bit of that out of there, and not ever have to stick an excavator in the ground. So we don't, we reduce any kind of risk of tearing anybody else's utilities up, our own utilities, because it does happen. I mean, we bumped our own stuff before. We can clean out storm drains, and I think we've probably got around 200 and some odd storm drain collection boxes that usually we just scoop out of the show and we lay on somebody's yard, and then of course, next big rain comes along and try and washes it back down, so it'll come in handy on a lot of that stuff, helping out. If there's sewer backed up or something, sometimes we can, it may not solve the problem, but it'll help buy some time if we have to, pull some water out of a manhole or something to help, from backing up in someone's home. So we can use them on water taps, just a ton of stuff. Water valve boxes, that's another issue we've got. Road ground, dirt. Anytime it rains, we're constantly fighting that. So we never have a way to clean that all out of there. So we'll actually be able to stick that down in there, clean everything out, get all the way down to the operating down on the valves. And I mean, we've got probably 500 or 600 valves in our system. So I mean, it'll come in handy. So yeah, it'll definitely pay for itself.
I forgot to ask you this afternoon, is it something that's easy for just the 2 of you to work, or?
It's one person can run it by themselves.
Okay.
Well, one place where it could save a lot of money is, like Dennis mentioned, all the utilities that are in the ground anymore and this fiber optic stuff. That's totally, I guess the word would be uninvasive. When you
and a lot of the utilities
it out, and if it could prevent us from getting hit with a bill because we cut a fiber optic, that could just about pay for it in one shot.
There's a lot of utilities out there too now. They're doing like us. Here a few years ago, we adopted an ordinance where they had to daylight it 5 foot on each side of our line. There's a lot of them now that are making you daylight it before you even start digging at all. CenterPoint requires someone to be on site anytime you're digging around a gas line. Used to, it was just the larger mains. Now it's 2-inch lines. It's down to service lines. And now you're supposed to have somebody on site. With a hydrovac, you don't have to have that. So, if you're anywhere around the line.
And they wanted 22,000 for it, was that?
22, yeah.
It doesn't need new tires, look to me like it needed, that trailer needed new tires.
When I zoomed in, it didn't look like they were that bad at all.
Okay, all right.
I mean, we're not going to Indianapolis or Bowling Green or anything like that, it's gonna be right here.
I'm good with it. I think it's well worth the money as long as we can do it. You said we can divide it between all 3.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I really, I'll be honest with you, and I think it's probably a moot thing they're not doing it, but I'm hopeful that it's not. Because anybody that knows the value of those things, if the guy comes tomorrow morning and he's actually into that kind of stuff, it'll be gone.
So you said somebody was already lined up to look at it, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning, and it's only one guy, and I've already talked to the contractor that's selling it, and he said that if we're interested, I'll just text him and let him know that we're done tonight, and then if the guy doesn't buy it, he's gonna take it off the marketplace, and it'll be ours, so.
Well, I'll make a motion, we purchase the hydrovac, at a cost of 22,000, split between town, sewer, and water.
I'll second that. Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Good luck with the bid. Anything else for the miscellaneous before I wrap up with this last item? So we'll move on to the letter we received from SKO today.
Apologies for getting it to you now. I have no control over it. I couldn't tell you anything either until the letter was sent out. I think what's important to note for the town, because I need to advise you regardless of what you guys do, the letter before you is whether or not where your files would go. The client is a client of not any attorney, and a client is a client of the firm. So that's why you got a joint letter. The choices for any client is where their file goes. And it's changed, you can move it at any point. It's never set in stone. So the notice letter that you received was a notice that I'm resigning from SKO. I'm wrapping up my practice there. I'm going to move at some point between, hopefully next week. And I will be at a different firm. So because you all are a client of SKO, you don't come with me automatically. You have to move the file if you wish for me to continue serving as your counsel. That decision, however, is not a decision to engage the new firm that I'm going to. I ethically cannot offer you an engagement from a firm that I'm not currently working at. Ethically, I cannot do that as long as I'm a partner at SKO. So what would happen, what's before you on that is you can make a decision now, and you can choose what to do. Your options are the file can stay at SKO, the file can go with me, or you can designate a third location it goes. If you choose for it to stay at SKO, then somebody else will be here for your next meeting. If you choose for it to go with me, then I would come to the next meeting with an engagement letter for the new firm and explain all that process to you. And if you chose a third location, then it would go to a third location, and whatever organization, somebody from there would go to the meeting. I did receive a question about rates. I'm honoring all rates. There is no rate increase for my clients in the move. But everything else will be in the engagement letter, and I wish I could show you what it is. I can't.
We have money that we send to SKO each month. We have a contract with them.
Mhm.
Would that become null and void?
Yes.
How does that work?
Yeah, so even though you wouldn't necessarily be able to engage a firm like the one I'm going to, its name is Denton's, you could theoretically, by saying you're moving the file, would mean you're also severing the legal attorney-client relationship with SKO. And so in your engagement letter with SKO, which is where I currently am, you have a monthly retainer amount, and pursuant to the engagement agreement, you receive invoices for time worked. So when bills are ran at the end of October, you'll receive an invoice in November for that time worked, and that's part of your engagement. You're still on the hook for that, for lack of a better phrase. Your retainer payment would conclude in October if you were no longer retaining SKO.
Okay, that was my, essentially my question, yeah.
And we don't have to make this decision tonight, correct?
No, you don't. So the decision before you is where the file goes. Just know that, so if you table it and do it at a special meeting, that's obviously you can do that anytime. If you do it at the next meeting, then that's going to be at the designated time in November. When I am no longer a partner at SKO, I ethically cannot represent you from SKO, so I can't be here. Now, you can call me. You guys saw my contact information, and I can attend for purposes of engagement, but I can't show up and answer a phone call on your behalf. I won't have access to my email or phone once that happens. I will send a notice to all of my contacts when my new contact is going to change, and I'll send you updated information so you have all that. If you're waiting on me, let me know, but I can answer any questions if not. That was my piece.
I don't have any questions. I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, obviously we have, we've got a long history at SKO, and we have a long history with Raymond here for the last few years, so be a decision to make. Do we need to decide on the file tonight, or like you said, can we?
You can make a decision at any point. It just your communication or response. There's a form to be filled out and signed. It can also be done via email, quite frankly. You can send it back to me, and I would give it to SK. You can send it back to the sender, who's AJ Singleton. He's our general counsel for the firm. At a certain point, if I'm no longer at SK, I won't have any communication or contact with them. So.
I mean, because I'm sure right now, like, so say we decide to stay at SKO, you would know who would be assigned to this, would it go back to Chris, or would it go to somebody?
It would,
Different.
in all likelihood, Chris would come back into the picture and talk to you. I would have no say over that. Or like law.
In the same sense, if you were moving on, was to say they wouldn't shift somebody else to us, or is this more through you at that point?
You're talking about if you come with me?
Yes.
Oh, no, I would be primarily responsible for it, just like I am now. I mean, nothing's really gonna change about my practice, it's just my contact information has changed. Now, there are things that I think will be helpful to me and my clients there, for the other people that can assist, like associates and stuff that can help out. But no, it would still be, I would be the one offering to get it, or just like I did in January.
Gotcha. Okay.
Different letters.
I would like some time to think about this one.
We do
Kind
have
of
to,
tough either way.
we have to make that decision in a public meeting, however, correct?
Yeah, it's a decision that you'll have to make. Yeah, I wish you didn't have to like do a special meeting just for that, but I don't see, because it's an official decision of the town. The town council is the one that directs that, so I think you have to come up with a quorum and an agreement on what to do with that.
Okay.
All righty.
Okay. Anything else that we?
Not me.
Nothing?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll say. All in favor?